Hey guys, and welcome back. In this episode part 2, I will talk a real talk. But before I start, if you're new to my channel, this is Lauren Triumph, a Middle Eastern woman who lives in the United States. I'd like through my channel to show our culture to the Westerns and show the Middle Easterns the Western culture. For now, let's begin. In the previous episode, I talked about the Druze history, their beliefs, what they share with other religions, and their similarities. In this episode, I'll be talking about women in the Druze holidays, and their culture, and how protective they are towards their habits and habitat. But there will be a part that I'll be talking about my own experience as a former Druze woman. I might talk about my new beliefs in a different video, if y'all wish. Again, the purpose of this video is no harm, no hate. It's more of educational than a personal video. Let's start with the easiest and the shortest. Eid al-Fitr. I know, it's the Muslims' holiday. Some Druze, yes, some celebrate it. I'm saying some, cause my town, they never celebrated it. But the Druze neighbor town that's 7 minutes away from mine, they do. The main reason of celebrating this day is because Druze finally separated from the last religion, and it's the Islam. In other words, Druze is finally an independent religion. The other Eid or holiday that Druze celebrate with Muslims is Eid al-Adha, means the sacrifice day. Druze don't celebrate this Eid because of Abraham. You know the story when Abraham wanted to sacrifice his son and the knife didn't even cut Abraham's son Ishmael. But again, Druze celebrate for a different reason. After a deep research, I found that they celebrated to get involved in the Islamic community. In other words, just to adapt to the Islamic environment. But the real deal is the 10 days that come before the Eid. We call in Arabic Layali al-Ashr. Druze believe that in these days, God going to put Druze people in a hard woe. And there at the 10th day, God will save the good Druze from the ordeal. I'm not sure if visiting the shrine is considered a holiday like Jethro. Once a year, Druze go to his shrine that is located in Palestine, Israel. See, told you, I picked the shortest and the easiest. Now let's talk about the civilization and its interactions. In the first episode, I talked about the 7 wisdom books and who is allowed to read them. I mentioned the term fully Druze and I explained it. It is so important for Druze religion, which we agreed that the real name is people of monotheism, but I will use the name Druze because it's known more and easier. Back to what I was saying. It's very important for Druze to keep their traditions and their Druze blood, meaning it is desirable that they don't mix with other beliefs. You might be wondering or asking, what if this happened? Then what will be the consequence? My answer is so simple, so honest and so direct, like any Middle Eastern person would act. Westerns who don't know what I'm talking about? So let me explain it to you in the easiest way possible. First option, the parents happy for them. Second option, they will be disowned. Third option, they will be judged and called infidels. Fourth option, not allowed in town again. So the percentage of getting welcomed with your decisions and picking your own life is so low, unfortunately. What about their kids? What would they be or considered? In case a Druze man had a child with a non-Druze woman, their kids automatically non-Druze. That doesn't mean that if a woman had a child from a non-Druze man, her kids or children considered a Druze. Not at all. Both parties are the same. Now, if their kids who are mixed with half Druze, half non-Druze marry a Druze man, their kids are still considered non-Druze. But if they're third generation, meaning the kids of Druze and non-Druze, their grandchildren will be Druze only in case they were married to a Druze person. So it's the 4th generation. Sorry if it's complicated. The Druze is like any other religion. They are conservative and call out for modesty. Again, let me make it easier for you. Men and women, if they're not religious, they're supposed to be conservative. If they are religious, they're supposed to wear black or navy blue, long shirt and long pants, and the head cover is supposed to be yarmulke style. For women, the same thing, but their head cover is white veil. If they're heavy religious, they're supposed to wear the same colors, but sharwal and a long sleeve shirt and the head cover called lafa. For women, the same colors, but maxi dress and the ninja style. Of course, nowadays it's different. Women and men dress modern and casual. They're not strict. Their temple called Solitude Temple. Men and women are separated. The preacher has to be a man because women are not allowed to preach or hum. They have to take their shoes off before entering any holy place. They have a tzedakah in every holy shrine. There they donate money to the shrine for renovations. I'm not sure if it goes also to whom in need. As I mentioned in the previous episode, that the Druze are very influenced from the Arabs or the Islamic Sharia, apparently because where they're located, in the Middle East. Therefore, they adopted their traditions such as overprotecting the women, killing for the land, and the honor of the family. Although the Druze religion is the only religion that prevents killing in any kind of way. You will lose your religion if you do. I will talk about this openly. So let me first talk about the losing their religion part, and then I will talk how they're influenced by the Islamic Sharia when it comes to killing for the honor. As far as we know that there are 7 wisdom books. Do you all still remember when I said in order to read them you have to be religious? So for those who are religious but sinned, they get another book. They are very important, but not as important as the 7 wisdom books. And they have this kinda as a punishment for those who sinned. For example, they all sit and pray in the Solitude Temple, and the preacher reaches to one of the inner books, or the wisdom books. So he asked from the sinned people to leave. The book that the saint have called the explanation book, its literal translation. So by asking them to leave the temple, is more for shaming the sinners. Now you might be wondering, what are the sins for Druze? Exactly like other religions, the 10 commandments, but killing in the Druze is a serious issue. As I said, they will get the explanation book rather than the wisdom book. Therefore, Druze soldiers, whenever they become religious, they ask them if they have killed anybody in the army. By the way, there is a very important point. Druze sheikh don't ask women about if they sinned. I'm not talking about killing, because Druze women, at least in Israel, Palestine, don't serve in the army, so they can sin in a different way by any sexual activities. And here I'll be talking about the major impact from the Islamic Sharia. Women will be in danger from the Druze male in the name of the honor of the family if they will reveal their sins. Hence, women will get their religion regardless if they are sinned or not. Now we reach women in the Druze. A friendly reminder, my dear friends, there is a section where I'll be talking about my personal experience. At first, I will talk about women in general and women in the history before religions. I always investigate before I get to the conclusions. Thus, I will tell you what I found out, and the decision is all yours. I googled what was the first religion in the world. The answer was Hinduism. Then I remembered that the first sect that existed was the Sumerians. So I checked the religion and the women in the Sumerians' religion. First, in the previous episode, we talked about their beliefs and their intelligence. This time we will figure out women's role before the divine religions. Ready? Let's start. In the Sumerians' religion, which called anthropomorphic polytheism, which means gods of human form, so what I found out that the Sumerian women could own property, run businesses along with their husbands, become priestesses, physicians, judges, and anything you can imagine. And that's because they worshiped gods who were in the form of a woman. But yet, the Sumerian women had rules in society that were not equal to their male counterparts. But they were better than any other civilization that ruled back then. Then I started searching women's role in Hinduism religion, as long as it's the first religion according to Google. In Hinduism, a woman's role has been seen as supporting family life, including playing an important role in the religious activities of the family. But Hinduism had caused women's rights to decline tremendously during the Vedic period. It was in 1600 till 1800s BCE. Don't get me wrong, the Vedic period before the 21st century was great. The women had rights very equal with the men. More than Hinduism, once it opened up to the Western civilization, it got influenced. Okay, now let's go back to the Druze religion and the woman in the Druze. The story of the Hinduism and the Vedic that got influenced by the Westerns reminds me a lot of the Druze history. First, we talked about geographically where the Druze are located, right? In the Middle East. The majority is Islam. Backdated in the Islamic Sharia or Testament, they were compelling all non-Islamic sects to convert to Islam. So Druze people didn't want to deviate, so instead they showed the Muslims back then how influenced they are from their doctrine by adopting their traditions. Hence, Druze women in the Druze doctrine is very influenced by the Islamic Sharia. Nonetheless, they are not Muslims, so the Druze woman became the woman is awra and must be covered. The word awra means nakedness, imperfection, blemish, weakness. I'll leave the decision up to you, my friends. But the woman is awra not only in Quran nor in Druze. The woman is awra in all divine religions, while we have so many goddesses in non-divine religions. These goddesses' images represent just a few of the thousands of goddesses from every culture and era. Adherents of monotheism often consider polytheistic religions primitive and unsophisticated. They tend to assume that people who worship many deities have failed to realize that God is one and that there is only one source, one ultimate truth, one eternal mystery which underlies and sustains everything. In fact, most polytheistic cultures are very much aware of the unity of life. As I mentioned before, that I will tell you a personal story about myself. Not necessarily these events happened to Druze culture only, but it happened to be that I was born to a Druze family. Now, the moment of truth, and the most sensitive subject. I think it's more sensitive than politics. First, before I start, I'm talking about myself, my experience, my town, and things I've seen there. It may change from town to town, so please don't take it personally. I was born to a Druze parents, fully Druze. In my small, beautiful, geographic-wise, town, everybody knows each other. We have a saying that we keep repeating, if you all sneeze, the whole town will know. So technically, no secrets pretty much. I was born to an average family, not rich nor poor. My father was a police officer. He decided to start his own career and business. My mother, she was quite a housewife for 5 children, until she started her career as a chef for big weddings. Now back to me. I was the trouble in the house. I'm the youngest. I don't know, maybe my way of thinking was different because of the things I've been through, such as being treated as a different girl. You still don't understand? I was treated as a black girl in a town that is not developed or modern and open to different cultures. So they didn't like me because I was dark-skinned, while my siblings were lighter than me. You can imagine what the society did to me as a little girl. Maybe my black folks relate to me in this. So tyranny helped me to change my personality. Thus I knew that I didn't meet with their standards. So I had to work on my personality and brain to prove to myself first, and then to them that I'm worth it. Intelligible or clearly, I chose domains that aren't popular or didn't exist in my small town. Therefore, I started educating myself besides school education, started developing my Hebrew, English, and even taught myself Italian. Well, technically the Italian is gone. So when I grew up and graduated from school, started thinking about what I really love and how to take advantage of the skills that I gained throughout my self-education that I pursued. I thought to myself to become a filmmaker as long as women aren't allowed to sing in the Druze religion. Thought I'll be behind the screens and nobody will judge me. But my parents' reaction was, have you lost your mind? What will people say about us? I said, okay, so I know languages, I'm going to be a tour guide. Also, I love traveling. But my parents' response was, seriously, traveling all alone by yourself? Without a brother or a husband? Forget about it. I got to the point that I doubted myself. Yes, they are right. I must lost it. I have to stop flying and finally to land on the ground. That I thought about something will make my parents proud, and of something that I've always dreamed about, journalism. What an honorable career, huh? You guessed it. the response was negative. The most painful part, that my dreams were bigger than the minds and the mentality of my own town, even though my dreams are achievable. While I was devastated, I saw men pursuing my dreams easily and proudly. It just killed me inside, felt defeated, and like I'm screwed because I was born a girl. You might be asking, what could a woman in your town study? I'll answer that. Whether she can be a teacher or nurse or ABA, but I'm talking about the early 2000s. Luckily, today women are studying anything they want and wish. Long story short, I picked the worst major. It was human resources. I just wanted to study something that won't put me in conflict with my parents. Regardless of all this negativity, racism against me, rejections made me a stronger person, made me rebellious. Started searching for what makes me happier. So I did a lot against the Druze religion. One of them, dating a Jewish guy. By the way, I wrote a book about my journey. You'll find it in my Instagram page. It's still in Arabic and some of it in Hebrew, but I'm working on translating the book into English and a hard copy too. Again, what happened with me not necessarily in every Druze house. It could happen in any Middle Eastern or a culture that worshiped men and cared a lot about people's opinions. I shared my personal experience with you so you can understand how some women are treated in my own town and religion. Like religions were written only to punish women or written only for women. The question is, women are the only humans? They are the only one are capable to sin, make mistakes? As you know, before I make any conclusions, I search and ask, and I figure out that the man's world is also exists in the Western world, even in America. I watched a documentary about virginity, was titled Dictating Virginity. In Alabama state, there is a father-daughter ceremony when fathers celebrate their daughter's virginity, and there the daughter has to promise her father and all the invited people that she'd keep her virginity to her promised man. In other words, to her husband. Not to mention that in the Middle East, women get killed for breaking their hymen before marriage. Hence, I notice religions are focused too much on women and their hymens. I have a question for you. Does it make sense that women are the reason of rape in the world, or does woman laughter and cry supposed to seduce a normal, intelligent man? Back to the important topic now. The easiest thing people could do is to blame parents or my parents for the things that I've been through. On the contrary, I will never blame them. They are victims of that sick community. Again, I'm talking about my town. I'm aware the situation is not so different in the nearby towns though. If I can blame someone, I blame the people who explained religions in the wrong way. A way to make it look like a bunch of horny men who can't control themselves. Alas, if you notice the biggest issue is, what will people say about us? That's all because of the lack of understanding what prerogative means. They just think they want to share their private life to others, or everybody has to know your business. Every issue, problem, burden must have a solution, and the solution is to stop people from asking you. I'm very aware that it's so unpolite and rude to talk like that to people in the Middle East. But I mean, it's more rude to embarrass you by asking you a very personal question. So my conclusion is, women before the divine religions were goddesses and ruled the world. Women in the Druze and in other religions are awara. I felt I had to have an eye-opening on this fact. In case you think women are awara, that's because you are sick and brainwashed. As always, I represent the logic and reality. I don't like sugarcoating anything. And I don't think this idea is trustworthy. If you want to make a change, just put everything in the light and let the world see the truth. Thank you very much.